Hey Zingers, it's Dan Leach, and I have a wonderful guest for you today. It is the CEO of LogicMark, a NASDAQ company in the personal safety and health tech industry, Chia-Lin Simmons. So great to be with you again today, Chia-Lin.
It's good to see you again,
And
Dan.
the pleasure and honor always mine. And let's start off with just, giving everyone a brief overview of what LogicMark is all about.
Yes, Dan. LogicMark is in a business of what I call personal safety for everyone. So we historically have been known as a company that produces medical alert products, or PERS, as we call it in the industry, which basically provides sort of the health and communications products for somebody who has fallen classically the I've fallen and can't get up business. And we've expanded our business to cover also personal safety for everyone with devices that will allow somebody as young as an 8-year-old to sort of utilize a product, down to sort of a 28-year-old going on a Tinder date. So so it's a really big sort of area to cover. That's 1 in 4 Americans who are 65 and over, as well as almost everyone, 54% of Americans who are afraid of walking near their home within a mile at night. And so that's men and women as well. So
Well, let's talk about accessibility. How does accessibility play a role in how you develop products?
absolutely. We think about accessibility, or what I would call basically human centric sort of product focus, as a core tenet of what we do as a business. And so we really try to place our customers at the center of everything we do. We develop our products with them in mind. So, for example, the question of accessibility, we are always really careful and thoughtful about when we produce, for example, hardware products that we've done in the past as well as now, that there are buttons that are actually great for people who might have sight impairment, for example. You'll hear us use a lot of like audio prompts, to basically help those who are hard of hearing or have keep, have sort of a more concerns about sort of hearing, and it's very, very loud, so that actually they could get help when they need it. One of the major things that people talk about is how loud the battery reminder to recharge is. And it's mainly because oftentimes, we realize that some of our users are, their hearing is not as good as it used to be. And so we actually produce products that actually keep that in mind. So, but really the major part of, when we think about sort of accessibility or human centric product development is, things that are, I think, less apparent than that. So let me give you an example. When we look at things such as fall detection, oftentimes, in the past, we develop products that require a push of a button. And so that really implies that you actually are conscious of when you actually have an emergency. We know that that is not true at all, in every instance. And so, automatic fall detection is important for us. And so a lot of our patents are tied around multi-sensing, fall detection, because we know there's a high likelihood that if you fall, you might hit your head or you might have a stroke and you're unable to push a button. And so we're trying to ensure that not only do we have fall detection, which I think needs to be given in today's industry, but secondarily that it doesn't have a lot of false positives. So you sort of will turn that off or it becomes not available. One of the other things is from sort of a human centric development point of view, and I would say it's part of accessibility is understanding and being able to predict what's going to happen. And so we really are very keen on trying to get to predictive analytics so that we don't have to really even think about that at all. That our technology is, I think they call it hyper personalized to you in the future. I believe Ariana Huffington and the Thrive team has, gotten together with OpenAI to develop what they call hyper personalized AI, and health, wellness care. And let's be candid, that's what we've been working on for the last 3.5 years here, right? And so we think that that's really part of development for the future. You really want to work with companies and technology companies that actually has the hyper personalized focus, accessibility for everyone, and thoughtfulness about sort of human centric development, so that down to the point for even those who are not elderly, for example, our Astra product, which is personal safety for everyone, we've even thought ahead, right? That, if you're an 18-year-old coming from the library at 12 o'clock at night, you are not going to remember to like start your safety app, right? This isn't just how people think. We really have to get into the psychology of what the customer looks like and say, look, you're tired, you're not going to remember to turn these things on. So all you have to do for a product is have it registered on your phone, and you have the little button. And if you have the little button, then you don't need to do anything but actually use it for emergencies, because who's going to have time from a usability and accessibility point of view to, open your phone during an emergency while I'm fending off the bad guy, right? Like, let me unlock my safety card, and call somebody for safety. And this is pretty big. I don't think I'm a small woman, and it's a very hard thing to grip and try to, fight off somebody and push this 5 times or 10 times, however Apple wants you to do it. But what you can do is have this very close to you, and it's as small as an AirTag. You push it 3 times, and your app doesn't have to be on and draining your phone. So to us, when we think about accessibility, we think about it in a very broad sort of perspective, so that we can actually provide that for everybody who uses our product.
Yeah, that little button, as you mentioned, makes a massive, massive difference. It's just awesome stuff. And I know, Chia-Lin, you just secured approval to provide devices through Medicaid in several states. Congratulations on that. It's a big deal. Can you walk us through what this program will look like and what kind of opportunity is this for LogicMark?
Yeah, no, that's a really great question. So, assuming everything goes well under the new administration, we certainly hope that programs continue and serve people under sort of the Medicaid programs. Many states also generate their own, funded by the federal sort of government, but it gives everybody an opportunity who's elderly to use the Medicaid program to actually utilize that program cost to basically um, not pay for, or have it being paid for, the sort of monthly fees that's associated with using one of these. I think there's a very strong push for everybody, including those who are elderly. 90% of them want to age at home. And so aging at home is a difficult process when you don't have the support that you need. And so actually having a device is actually very, very helpful. And so once you get into sort of a Medicaid program into a state, it allows for like those organizations in a state, including the councils for aging, retirement communities, to basically help the elderly apply for the program and get basically the monthly cost paid for through the program. So we think it's a big win for those seniors who are looking to age at home. And it certainly gives independence, and most importantly, it doesn't, people think about LogicMark and the products that we create as, wow, like, why would you want to cover that in Medicaid? Like, it's not a health program. Well, you know these things, it's really important to remember, we really are, I think it's important to sort of want to save on health costs. What's really important about medical products like ours, or, medical alert products like ours specifically, is that we actually get the seniors help within the hour of their sort of emergency. If you don't get help within the first hour, what's called the golden hour in medical terms, then your health outcome is worse, which means that we're using our healthcare to basically treat more and more symptoms, right? And so, because your health is worse, you're going to spend more money in healthcare overall, and that's sort of detrimental to everybody, right? So the best outcome we really all feel like we need to have is be able to have this available and get people help within hours, so that their health outcome is better and we don't use more and more health insurance, and everybody's health outcome is better. And so we really are very bullish about actually getting these into states. It's a very, very difficult process. In the state of California, for example, we don't just apply to the state. We actually apply to, I believe it's like 30 plus counties, individually as well. In some cases, I think in the state of Ohio, you actually have to go there physically and apply every year, and do credit checks. I think personally, like, I think for me, criminal and credit checks, as a CEO. And that's fantastic, right? Because this is really what you want to see, so that there's no people trying to utilize these programs for fraud, and those types of intentions. And so, again, we're rapidly working towards getting as many states covered as possible. It states there's always a level of, application process that's in place, but we are moving very quickly on this, and, hopefully able to bring this to seniors so they can actually help defray some of the monthly costs. So,
Well, that's very exciting stuff. And so is this as well. Your next generation Guardian Alert 911 Plus just launched. What is new with this version, Chia-Lin, and what kind of sales are you hoping to generate from it?
yeah. So This is very exciting for us to sort of share. And it mainly has to do with the following because when I took over this company, we had a suite of legacy products, which really includes, the Guardian Alert 911 Plus. And so, this is a button that you push, and all you have to do is push it, but that's all it does. It basically pushes it and takes you to 911. And we created this product initially, and it was a very innovative product at the time because every other product that basically you have to have a subscription. And so we understand that not everybody is in an economic, sort of situation to be able to sort of afford personal safety. And so when this created was created, it was with a thought that basically there are people who can't afford month to month sort of subscriptions. And so there you go, you get help and safety, you bypass a call center, do all of those things, takes you straight to 911, and that's fantastic. And so, but subsequently, as you know, I'm a big, big believer, in actually having personal safety for everybody. And that means also at every economic level. And so the idea generally have been that, like, well, we'll just sort of continue with our legacy product, but we're not really content as a company and a technology company to sort of leave things as it is, just because you know, don't have the time to basically do our newfangled product that's a little bit more expensive on a monthly basis, and it's monthly and has all the sort of bells and whistles and all of those things that go along with it, doesn't mean that you should have a product that doesn't evolve and isn't sort of up to date. And so, really, the new Guardian Alert 911 Plus is an evolution of this particular product. The form factor is actually much smaller. It's so new that I actually don't have it in my hand to show you right now. Um, that it's a very small. It looks like our. It's actually the same sort of footprint as our, top selling, mini product. It has a button because people love their buttons. But most importantly, it still doesn't have a recurring monthly. We really want to hold on to that so that, again, we have accessibility for people who may be on fixed incomes and don't really want to deal with monthly charges. But it now has fall detection because we recognize that, again, people are in multiple sort of health situations where it may not afford them the capability to push that button. And so we really feel like it's important to do that. And so one of the promises I made when I came to this company was that, we were going to keep a portfolio of products that was actually going to continue to evolve. And our goal was to get better and bring, newer technology and evolve the technology forward. So this is an evolution, to sort of, I think, signal to the shareholders that this is actually not, our heritage products are not dead, right? They are ever evolving technology. And that's important because Guardian 911 Plus is one of our top selling products. And so it's one of the top selling products for a very long time. People love the idea of not being able to, have to deal with and think about the monthly recurring billing. And so we think that the addition of this particular sort of capability to basically have fall detection as well, is actually going to help us sell even more units as well. And, again, we think of this as an evolution and a portfolio product that's an evolution. So, there might be, as people are sort of evolving through their sort of, age at home sort of situation, we see more and more people migrate from this, sort of 911, less bells and whistles product as their needs evolve and evolve into something like this. Because today, they're most likely to have like, a smaller one of our products. And then, I also have a cell phone. But as you get older, we understand that, these things become heavier. The phones don't get smaller. They actually end up getting bigger and bigger, and they're more complex to use. Every time I go to Apple store, I'm reminded of that because, you hear a lot of people trying to purchase items that are for their aging loved ones, and their aging loved ones don't know how to use the Apple Pay. They don't, the Apple sort of like newfangled things, all the apps, right? Even from a study perspective, when I was working at, Google Android, we know that people use less than 35% of the apps. And that's even on a like MAU basis, monthly active user basis, which means that on a DAU, daily active use basis, it was even lower, right? So you kind of lean on like one or two apps, maybe five at most. And so they're not really active app users. And so it becomes really like cumbersome, and so they don't want to carry this anymore. And you know, our competitors have products that look even bigger than this and uglier than this, and so they're like, I don't want to do any of this, and so they're just unprotected. So our goal is to just basically try to get people to think about like maybe at the as you get more involved into your journey and aging at home, you just want to evolve into one product. It's a cell phone. It's a PERS device. If you fall wearing one of these, then and you are passed out, the fall detection will kick in. Like just like our new Guardian Alert 911 Plus. But your family could actually use, their apps and say, oh my gosh, an emergency triggered for FA Max that my mom is wearing. And so let me sort of peep in through the camera, front and back. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing like what looks like something on the ground. So mom definitely needs help. Oh, 911, the 24/7 monitor service is already called 911. Let me get there as well. And so I think that we tend to think of, and we talked about accessibility, we tend to think about our customers, journey with us, and it's not static. You could start off with the active senior on this product. They're going hiking, everything's fine, and they have these products, and they're actively going out, they're telling their friends, hey, I'm going on a hike. If I don't contact you at 10, you know, like text me, right? And it'll automatically text you and we'll check in and hey, say like you're doing hiking at 10 and you're supposed to be home and are you okay? We don't respond, we send people to you. We can see this evolution of a very active senior using this product to maybe saying, yeah, I still have this, but I'll just wear a smaller version of one of these products and it should be okay. To, you know what, I'm just tired of like doing this. Like it's huge. So I just want to like have something small, right? So we hope, and it's our desire to basically be part of every part of the journey of a person as they're aging and looking at personal safety. And hopefully, you know, a 24-year-old who's using this product will be with us for a very long time. And as she's going through her aging journey, hopefully, she will pick up one of these, or maybe pick up one of these for their 8-year-old because they have no apps. Has no apps, right? And it has GPS track, geofencing, so your kid's not running amok anywhere. It's funny how like a lot of people love this, and they've been talking about FA Max for their children. So
Well,
it all
you're helping so many people, and it's quite an amazing thing. So nothing but the best to you going forward. Chia-Lin Simmons, the CEO of LogicMark. That was absolutely a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Dan.